first session expert, Dr. Ravindra K. Bharyal. Sorry, sir, for the mispronunciation. If I
Bharinga, madam.
Sir is principal scientist at CSIR Advanced Material and Processes Research Institute at Bhopal. Sir is also specialist at research areas which include finite element mapping, computer-aided design, computer-aided manufacturing, and advanced engineering materials. Sir, it's our honor to have you, sir. We will start with our presentation, sir, now.
Yeah, good morning, participants and organizer, GECBANSWARA team, and especially my co-PhD mate, Dr. Videsh Puskele. We together, underwent our PhD curriculum and submitted for getting awarded doctorate. And it is my privilege and also the grace of Ma Saraswati that presently learned people like you and a learner like me who is continuously putting efforts to get advanced materials, processes, and research matters in my academic as well as research area. So this will not limit to only composites. Let me elaborate basic things of advanced materials which will come across when you people which are student participants, they will come to know when they are being assigned job in their work site. Parallelly, let me have some जनरल पॉइंट ये है कि अभी जिस डिपार्टमेंट को मैं हेड कर रहा हूँ देयर इज सम वर्क गोइंग ऑन इन मॉर्निंग टाइम सो मे बी सम इंटरप्शन इज देयर लेट मी आस्क वन पर्सन टू रमेश जी थोड़ा सा So the functionally graded nanomaterial, the smart materials, say graphene-based materials, some actuator applying materials, whatever the advanced material, will be covered in present session. Maybe you can interpret it intermittently. So whenever there is query, one can let me know so that there may be flow in the learning process. Basically, in my opinion, composite background starts with the time period which can be summarized right from nature, and there may be some incremental growth till date. So the knowledge flow stages in composite. Basically, composite is also area of material research and development where we can improve the basic material properties, which are the materials which are taken from motherland in form of ore or taken from mines directly, and they are made as billets. They can be formed ingots. So nature has given us gift in form of stone, bamboo, wood, tree, likewise. And these materials were totally in initial stage, they were taken as it is for using them as tools. A small progressive step in succession, continuous growth of the mankind, and the raw iron and advent of fire and application of brain and tactics, it lead to the human in a more progressive step with some advancement in the basic materials. Then use of tool, tip, and further processes and set up for the utility to be used as per the utility use for as per the use requirement need of the time and application, and the measures were taken in fitment where the tools and these developments can fit properly. So further little protective things came from water and chemical mix guard. So improvement was going on continuously. Then size refinement for mixing and performance needs. Why I am telling right from mother's gift as bamboo and boots, because they are also now considered as bamboo as composite. Why composite? Let me come in further explanation. And then when we consider the protection from harmful ingredients or harmful conditions to be coated or to be guarded, it will be elaborated in next slide. And then size refinement, as you know, that millimeter size to microns and further till now, and mixing with performance based needs means if some material is to be absorbing side is to be used or to be used in some wear and tear conditions, accordingly the size refinement due to surface quality or surface properties like coating, we need glassifness, lightness, and applicational functionality. Means if we consider the economic condition of the international scenario, then light weight is the most prominent factor for considering smart and lighter materials. And applicational means wherever there is some other than earth, when we go other from the earth crust, there is a further many more considerations of temperature and ambient conditions, so the functionality will be also considered in composite development. If we take into account basic and most general features of a composite, we can define material having composition with different properties. Now these properties यदि इनको हम बिल्कुल सहज सरल शब्दों में बोले तो जो उनकी परफॉर्मेंशियल प्रॉपर्टीज है, परफॉर्मेंस बेस्ड, इट कैन बी मैकेनिकल प्रॉपर्टीज, इट कैन बी ट्रायोलॉजिकल प्रॉपर्टीज, थर्मोमेट्रिक एक्सपोजर और some wear and tear or safeguardness. So this can be defined as variational properties, and in single term it can be called as add-on property. This is my definition which I am going to address you learned people. The add-on property basically came in my consideration because when we are dealing in different activities, different processes, we find that even carbon can be utilized as graphene in some micron or nano level of size feature. So when we add a single wall nanotube or we consider multi-wall nanotube, so the property can be enhanced in their layered structure also. So my address to you basically has underlying fact that a property, if enhanced by some process, it leads us to make a new composite. By the cooperation of your team, this matter is going to be published in form of a book chapter, and then there may be very many case examples, very elaborative and very detailed. But as per the provided time of this session, let me explain in a solid such a manner that the basic things reaches to your consideration, like an example of alumina being a ceramic, in which original property of base metal is aluminum. The properties being lighter material, it is conductive, it can be easily fabricated, it can be melted, malleable, mixing also possible, and additives like oxide and additional property material uh, is very easy to develop. And this alumina being a ceramic, uh, basically enhances property of pure aluminum as per requirement. Now it is very common factor that ceramic is also porous, it can resist some thermal exposure and many more things. And recently I came to know when people who are dealing raw, working on gold or pure metals, they are also using ceramic, uh, uh, these bowls for keeping this purest metals and then fabricating there inside. So this ceramic can resist many these outside conditions, thermal and pressure things. But newly developed matter, how can we see that property is enhanced? The composite which we need is now ready to be used. So newly developed matter, what is developed is tested in terms of mechanical, tribological, chemical, and thermo many properties. Presently, in my presentation, I am taking you and I am opening a window to research field by taking you an environment to an environment where daily we are dealing with some structural layered sandwich composites, and our line is to develop such materials which may be very much having values for industrial application, for health, for electronics, and many academic areas. Because until and unless there is some work already done and published, there is no pathway, as we are leading to a further pathway for the research, leading with our findings in different composites as well as functional materials. I mean to say, as you know, that there is enormous work done on composite and lighter materials, smarter materials. But I focused my research study based on a work done by Japanese researchers working on a aircraft project. When the inside temperature is some minus and outside ambient conditions, so the difference in the temperature and pressure and so many conditions, their need was to develop a gradient in a thin or uh, lighter material. So I focused based on their thermo exposure conditions. A test was made for developing a mechanical and tribological property based material. So I developed the layered material sandwich of aluminum and alumina waste, which was graded according to need of wear and tear at one end and impact of the other on the other side. So it was submitted in my synopsis, and now I have been awarded based on my tribological features as well as mechanical gain. What I gained in that is exactly the fitment of the composite is in one form or the other in practical application. Say there are so many applications where in inside of the his body, or say exposure to our for our ailment which we have suffered due to one or the other reason, And there is some other physical applications where coating, like in physics, the substrate, and there's some exposure to great pressure. So there also, even aircraft also, and one other one is a heat source when exposed, having some water tubes, and microstructure when coated, the layered microstructure, it protects, the protective layer enhances the material qualities. What tests are performed is very important point, because if some material is being developed, इसलिए हम टेस्ट कर रहे हैं कि यदि हमारे दो सैंपल में एक हमारे बेटर रिजल्ट्स दे रहा है और उसके बेस पे हमने परफॉर्मेंस स्टार्ट कर दिया, पर दूसरा उससे मैचिंग का रखने की आवश्यकता होती है, तो हमारे जो सैंपल्स बनाए जाते हैं, द बेसिक need is to see the configuration, structural as well as minute joining interface. So when developing a composite or some smart functional material, the basic preparation is very much effort based, because we have to be keen in development. There is no porosity, interface is proper, the pure ingredient is being taken, they are mixing, and the time taken by them to set or to join properly, so that there is no granule form, there no differing line, means that there is no minute cracks. So I have developed samples. Likewise, the samples are developed for a specific test setup. So the results obtained shows that there is proper mixing. There's no crack lines or deep lying effect at the interface. What deep lying is, I will come when some term comes across during further slides. And the data recording and analysis are also overcoming now manual errors because of computer aid. So the plots and graphs are always found on based on the table provided by the setup. So it is very much easy to see and differentiate any result between different samples. What I want to highlight is, if there is some differing mixing, if some particle differs in configuration, or they are differing in making or joining properly, so there will be a difference in structure, bonding. So what I want to further enhance your idea, your learning, by showing you SEM EDS, means scanning electron microscope device, has been paired with energy dispersive spectrometer. It is in our department, and we are seeing that there is no much porosity. If there is a very is continue porosity, it will not be sufficing our requirement of a solid or properly mixed material. So it may be a little bit porosity in the material. Still, we can differentiate the basic material, and there is any what we can avoid any part. So EDS is also done, energy dispersive spectrometry. Now further we goes to see the properties of the composite what is developed. We can test for tensile strength. So basically tensile strength is also done on one or the another machine. Presently we have one machine which gives lots of force versus extension. I think it is clear now that this setup, structural setup, Structural setup can be tested. What structure we are developing in form of samples we brings to a test setup, and then one or more samples uh, continuously means one by one are tested for their strength, their composition, their test under different conditions, condition imposed by the test setup, or which are created outside by providing some thermo exposure. Or let me come to another slide. The print between force versus extension, as you know, the stress versus strain. So we can find out how much elongation is happening due to some forces, and these are standard forces what we applied. Say for one sample we have applied some 600 kg or 6000 Newton force. Likewise, if sample 2 and similar configuration setup is lying on the parallel lines, yes, it confirms that yes, your configuration is doing good, very good finding of force versus extension, and the data comes in a record, and graph can be plotted by the system itself. Stress versus strain and force versus strain, as I mentioned, because of the specified cross-sectional area, directly it gives in form of stress and strain. But we can see by the plot of our this formula-based program that due to some width and thickness, means overall area, what exactly force can be withstood. So, based on the studies and published data, we can know the compression. Similarly, like in previous slide, I have told the compressive strength of specimens, I say 11.5, 12.5 by 20 millimeter, as per the standard. And standard means there is Europe Indian standard has provided their norms. Like somewhere many tests I have mentioned, which I'm coming across, like this chemical non-reactivity IS 50 DOC. There is a specific norm provided by Bureau of Indian Standards, so we have to abide by their norms. It is very important because the quality of the structure, their performance, their characteristic under load and various conditions, they have been defined due to their samples, readings and data. So it is easier to abide by the specification. Impact strength test means, say recently we have some material which is kept in a bumper of a vehicle to absorb energy, and it is imposed by some force. So impact strength is very prominent in engineering and research area, because some when we close something like an almirah and we put a impact load due to opening door or closing window, likewise, so the impression coming on the structural parts is causing some damage. So it can be pre-assessed by this impact strength test, as energy absorbed found in joule tells us the exact the feature of the material that under practical condition it can withstand how much energy. So in this functionally graded specimen, energy came out to be 1 joule. It ascertain, it just gives us support that this material confirms sufficient impact strength. V naught is formed in the sample. You can see standard V naught is formed. Now Brinell hardness test. So this test are being told because the materials which are being formed in form of composite, in form of ceramic, in form of some alloys, whatever, the test underwent the which are being conducted are one or the other test. This is a total setup which we are discussing here with you prominent learners and myself. I have learned a lot while doing my research study. And as per desired specification, the sample is shown here is developed and digital OPV machine used to perform test. Now, so many digital portable very handy setups are available. I am keeping one of the setup which uses this ball type of impression to get the radius, and based on the radius we find out impression made and hence Brinell hardness number matching to this impression. Why Brinell hardness number? Due to this hole, square hole or this ball type hole defined by samples studied earlier. The values matches with the at different points of the sample to a defined table. So we have this development. What I am showing here is outcome of the findings due to that impressions only. At one side or the another of the sample, the impressions are made and tested accordingly as per size. DMA test means dynamic mechanical analysis. Once the composite is formed, it doesn't confirm or tell in another word. Dynamic mechanical analysis means if one specimen is fabricated, it is being exposed to some dynamic mechanical setup where some metallic and ceramic feature is considered for interfacial properties of both at a time with a minute gap. Means if we see the bimetallic effect of the this specimen, the two sides are of the sample are, one is metal side, other is its ceramic side, or bound by a resin. So the two positions may not deply. One of the feature of composite is that the composition doesn't get off during practical use. So this dynamic mechanical analysis is very much useful under dynamic conditions to emphasize the material effect of gradation. When we add some other property in base material, there is some gradation formed and it can be tested on DMA. I think I am now reaching to your expectation that by what scientific caliber is putting their energy and their mental spirit to undertake a research work. If you people as a project people in form of assistants in a research field want to undergo some project work, or you want to join some activities along with your academics, you can discuss with your uh, patrons there, their guides, supervisors in your finals and in your PG also. May I expect that there is at least one person who would like to join some PG or like to join in their performance this type of composites, then I think that my performance is up to mark. So TGA is one of the other tests which is conducted on this composite or lighter or fibrous things and functional materials, which I did myself to ascertain that this may resist temperature up to the defined values. Say predefined value is 100 degrees centigrade. So heat flow tells in this time period, and this much percentage of the sample has reduced to its constituent parts. So it is in plain words it can be said liquid mixture again comes to its original uh, content. So the thermogravimetric analysis is also a supporting test to confirm the property of uh, composite, composite or ceramic or an a mixture of base material and its oxide silicate likewise. We are on pin test certain yes, a satisfactory surface strength. Why surface strength? Because when it is exposed to practical conditions, say one body part, a spare part made up of composite or ceramic is being under some force or some abrasive condition, then prior test of this setup for particular RPM and particular time for distance is being tested, and there is some formula or directly also the setup gives this value to match, and the graph is plotted for different samples. Say one sample is having some specific wear rate. When it is being treated, coated, then other values of other layer. So I suppose that the simple composite can withstand some load of 25-30 newtons, and it is a steady parameter that at a wear rate of some 0.0000045 cubic millimeter per Newton meter wear rate, there is a under load of 30 Newton. It matlab delaminates, not delaminate, but wear out. Let me come to chemical non-reactivity. There, as I mentioned, there is one Indian standard test setup. Earlier, it was called Bureau of Indian Standard. Now, something is called Bharti Manak Dravya, BMD. So, both are almost similar. Based on the earlier work, they have uh, appended their records and they call it Bharti Manak Dravya. So in various sectors like petroleum sectors, which is the most valued sector now, why I am telling I will support with my one example, this composite area only in next slide. The Bharti Manak Dravya ascertain that they can give a quality of fuel in this parameter. So any chemical test which is being conducted on a material undergoes IS 50 DOC CHD 1858 and confirmed in May 2011. And what is defined under this test procedure? This that the media is alkaline, it is under going 30 minutes time, and what the reaction is. So we can say that under this time, with acidic time 24 hours, no reaction. It ascertained that in many conditions where chemical uh, pressure vessels or containers, or when biometric exposure in human or some animal body, then it will not react, like in dental fillings also. So let me come to conclusion. Before that, as I was mentioning, that there is one feature which is very much important as far as fuel is concerned. Say this natural uh, this kerosene based petroleum or diesel, but main thing is that what the vehicle weight is, what the structure weight is to volume, means total volume of the size and shape of a vehicle, maybe aircraft, maybe a car, maybe a three wheeler, but the weight consideration can reduce its fuel consumption at very considerable amount. So when a body or a structure is lighter as far as volume concerned, then it is very much notable point that it gives benefit in terms of mileage. So when we consider lighter material like a foam material, 3D printed materials, these enhances the mileage of a vehicle. Even some structures like Earlier we were seeing almirahs made up of Godrej sort of heavy metal ferrous materials. Now these are aluminum based, coated, then ceramic, some wooden also preferred, because main consideration is transportability. There less efforts and easy to fabricable. So the conclusion doesn't end up to ease, but the maneuverability, how we can make it, how we can redesign it, how it stops as a waste material, and it doesn't harm to mother nature. And further, the scopes are unlimited, because aerospace, boats, with, as I mentioned, vehicles, maybe bicycle also, the frames and the helmet also. So many scopes are there: pressure vessels, carbon composite material for making vehicle spacecraft, fuselage also. Fuselage is nothing but a non-riveted, non-welded spacecraft body. So making mobile frames, electrical, electronic, telecommunicating industry spares and their parts. Solar panels as physical reflector, medical units, dental fleet packaging. Enormous use of composite is seen. So I expect now, as I mentioned, there are so many standards also. Bharati Manak Drav is also specifying how to develop and process. So there's so many things to share about ceramic, composite, light materials, but still, until and unless you see physically, as we are running some skill courses in our institute, in our 38 labs of CSIR nowadays, to let the student get some idea. We provide an exposure to where they will absorb after completing their graduation, PG or research work. Means the overall academics is as per the syllabus. We are exposing them to industrial intaking. Means one person hesitate when it gets degree and goes directly to apply for a job or undergoes an interview. They hesitate because the practical exposure is they are having some hitch. To overcome this limitation, to expose them to day-to-day realistic approach to problem solving, we make comfortable by giving them realistic man, machine and material support in our institute. 38 institutes of CSIR, we are conducting skill courses for 1 week, 2 week, 4 week, 3 months, 6 months internship, so that they can come to know parallel to our PhD university, the students going to get their 4 years integrated MTech PhD. Or what, why I am explaining our features, because until and means till now we were also lacking a good skilled people, person who knows the basics of material and processes. And when we absorb it during our interview, we find that what our requirement and what their performance, they should come to some point, so that the realistic approach by a joining person in form of science and technology as a employee, he has some basic idea. So the people amongst you, they are provoked, they are being enlightened by this lecture, by this material publication, that they just start thinking, they just start focusing, they just converge their idea, so that we can also incubate them, and we can welcome them to a platform where really scientific performance can be seen, and they can also enjoy the work of scientific area. and lighter material areas, composite areas, and functionally graded material. Functionally graded, basically, I am going to uh, just reach my conclusion that this functionally graded material is having a wider scope because of very ease of developing layers, grading and mixing, and we can check out their functionality in application also. Like one application is actuator. We have also here developed some actuator devices based on the functionally graded material, where one end is exposed to wear and tear condition and another is impact. So likewise, there are so many materials besides aluminum, like copper, conventional material, being very ductile and easy to fabricate with some ideas which we let's know the machinability. We have CNCs, we have some precise 3D printers here at M3 Bhopal, and you are welcome whenever anybody wants in your circle also or in your contact, they can join our skill program. It is open in our website mpre.res.in. So concluding to my lecture, my this interactive talk, anybody who wants to have some parallel points with this lecture or realistic questionnaire, they are welcome. So Dr. Veeresh, Dr. Jignesh, I am thankful, and your team and uh, convening, convening madam, that you have supported this lecture. Just a moment, there is one call. Hello. Hello. हेलो हाँ हाँ आ जाइए ठीक हाँ बात कर लीजिए बोलिए भारती सर के पास आ रहा हूँ करा दीजिए हाँ उनको आने दीजिए सिस्टम के लिए आ रहे हैं हाँ डिपार्टमेंट So Dr. Jignesh, I hand over to you, Dr. Veeresh.
Thank you, sir, for the presentation. Now I request all the participants, if there is any question, they can ask, they can unmute themselves and ask the question to the expert.
Yeah, welcome.
Any questions from the participants?
Basically, Madam Chaudhary, actually, Jignesh sir, this
Yes.
lab is, yeah, this lab is basically for supporting government शासन के प्रोजेक्ट्स जो हैं हमारे पास आते हैं, उनमें हम जो इंडस्ट्री की यूटिलिटी है उसके बेस पे हम उनको उस प्रॉपर्टी का मटेरियल और उस प्रॉपर्टी का प्रोडक्ट एंड प्रोटोटाइप तैयार करते हैं. We hand over our development industry in some new output. Performing prototype, we hand over, say, one sanitizing unit, one UV based, infrared based sanitizing unit. Recently, we have handed over. What the main composition is, we are providing a copper waste sheet and providing a heat source and whole chamber like Almira. The items which are kept, like our mobile, like our wallet, like our vegetable, whatever we take from market, we just keep inside for that chamber for a while, and it is being virus free. It is scanned, and we are free from any worry. Yes, it may be infected one or not. So this type of handy devices based on the advanced material applications, like one foam we have developed. I have mentioned right now that 3D foam is now possible to develop. I myself brought one 3D printer device few years back, and now we are planning to take some further metallic spooling device. Uh, One of parallel sister lab is having, where we can join or we can make composites out of the 3D model which we prepare on computer or PC, and with the use of software we can make complicated shape without eliminating some material from the base metal. We can just deposit metal by 3D use, and we can make a composite for our desired requirement. So likewise we are developing some systems, some prototype, and handing over to in realistic manner to needy society and industry. So based on the query, open query to any industry also is most welcome here at this platform, as you people are also a part of the society or going to be a part of industry or academic or government body in the coming time. So this time is very much preferable to you people to go through some links and publications where you get a proper idea of your own interest. Like me, I am continuously for 23 years, 24 years running as scientist. I came across various discipline projects of government and private sectors where car bodies, aircraft bodies, and many metallic parts of different sports industry, agriculture industry, where down to earth approach is put. Our effort is to make quality spares and parallelly join them, parallelly fit them without any interference, seeing the computer models and analyze at the same time, so that there's no difficulty while in realistic product development. So anybody who thinks now ki composite two wheelers or there's some hub-based motors can be fitted in aluminum alloy wheel. So that type of regular works we are undertaking. Many students of projects in academics and research, they are really joining to us. Some interns are conducting their uh, research work and project final year projects work. Even pre-final minor projects and major projects are daily people are taking our support. So even in skill project for a few years, we are bringing you people, students, right from ITI diploma, degree, and PG, PhD, to expose them to practical day-to-day situations of industry and society, so that we can support society in a healthy manner. We can think the future in a healthy engineering vision. Thanks a lot, and I expect I have matched your requirement to deliver a lecture. I'm quite happy to join your institute in online platform. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, sir. Looks like there are no questions for right now. So we can provide your mail IDs. They can directly contact you if they have any
This is
queries.
my mobile number, WhatsApp. They can use
Okay,
24/7.
okay,
I will
okay.
resolve the query.
Oh, okay.